Have you ever thought about what it would be like to be frowned upon every time you tried to follow your dreams, walked in a room, or even went to a public setting? I'm talking about the common life, which is real life, and not the little lives that we live as individuals, separate lives. That is a quote said by Virginia Woolf. She had the courage to write her own words in fiction. Virginia Woolf delivered a series of speeches at colleges. In 1928, her speech, A Room of Its Own, was heralded as a feminist manifesto. Her words continue to inspire women today. In this day, nearly a century after she started speaking, this speech strikes at the heart of patriarchy, and she argues that without financial independence and access to education, ideological, social, and creative freedom is out of reach. Virginia knew the truth of all this too well because her father believed only boys profited from schooling. Her strength of spirit defied her own father. She told him, lock up your own libraries if you like, but there is no bolt that you can set upon the freedom of my mind. In another one of her speeches, she talks about how the society is concerned with the employment of women. She then talks about her own experiences. With having her own profession as literature, she says it is very difficult because there are fewer experiences for women, and the fewer she means experiences that are very peculiar to women. When she first started to come and write, there were many obstacles in her way. Writing when she first started was reputable and harmless. Her family's peace was not broken by the writing, but there was some tension in the house. There was no demand upon her family's purse, but the cheapness of writing paper, of course, was the reason why women have succeeded as writers before they have succeeded in any other profession. Virginia is speaking to women who have opportunity to learn in a formal communal setting. She lets her audience know the importance of their education, at the same time warning them of the precautions of their position in society. In many of Virginia's speeches, she tells stories about herself and her past, and she illustrates her points, and she tells stories about famous women and writers. She describes small moments about herself and her past life to demonstrate what financial independence can do for a woman writer. She describes how she paid for her lunch and feeling proud about the earnings from publishing writings, and that allowed her the independence to do that. She draws a picture of how her friend Jane Austen had to do her writing in the family sitting room and hiding it from servants and anyone that came in because it was so frowned upon. But she also wondered about how much better her writing would have been if she didn't have to hide it, if women's rights was just there, that she didn't have to hide it without interruptions. Whether Virginia Woolf is talking about lunch or a breeze or even just eating, the quality of her speech makes those words so much more memorable, even without reading or text. She also hits notes on women and public speaking. If women weren't really able to write back then without hiding it, then how much more difficult would it be to be a public speaker? She says women might mean women what they are or what they're like, and it might be women in the fiction that is written about them, or would it mean that women somehow all there are extremely mixed together? She saw that all she could do was to offer her opinion in her minor points. A woman must have money, must be independent with her money. And in her speech, A Room of Its Own, if there is a problem for the true nature of women and the true nature of fiction is unsolved. What Virginia Woolf has traced are the reasons for the reasons why women novelists are so limited in their achievements. They failed because they were not financially independent. They failed because they were not intellectually free. They also failed because they were denied the fullest worldly experiences she imagines would have happened to all the pathetical sisters, even in Shakespeare, because in the 18th century she insisted that whatever gift you had as a woman no woman in the age of wife beating could have written a play that tells about that. Virginia Woolf was very inspiring because she adds a tremendous quality to women's rights. Her speeches are very inspiring and they teach very valuable lessons to young girls in today's generation.